Hello everybody, JP Moser, how you doing? Well, I want to do a video. I don't want to make this, I'm going to try to keep these videos as short as possible. People don't have time to sit around listening to long, I mean, if you're dealing with people like Richard Dolan or News Nation, Ross Coulthart, I think to be fair, they've got something worth listening to if you want to spend an hour and pay to hear them. Some of the stuff is not free, and they're certainly worth listening to. They really are, and I'm subscribed to them, as well as Vetted and a few others. Rogan. I mean, there's loads. Um, but I think that you know this is one of those kind of videos where it's quite an exclusive audience, and we say things and we do stuff. So what we're going to talk about is one of my books I put out, which was called Brilliant by some people. I thought it was quite intelligent. I just want to go on record as saying that I'm not a genius. I like that line Jeff Goldblum said from Jurassic Park, and he's yelling at um, the guy that created the park in the first film, and he says, "What did you do? You stood on the shoulders of geniuses, and you just kind of put stuff together, put your name on it, and slap and put it out there." Here's my problem with it. You didn't take responsibility for the research. You didn't think about the consequences of what you were doing. Um, there is some mad genius in that somewhere. The mad scientist who says, "Let's do it anyways." So what I did was, some years ago, I came across a brilliant man that's not with us anymore, and in his endeavor to research human mind control, and he was using something very simple. And he had a friend of his hooked up to a brainwave machine with a scope, and he could see what was happening. So I came across this research from this brilliant guy, and I began to do more research into it. My rudimentary initial experiment was a very crude setup, okay, and I did it not expecting any result. What ended up happening was, within not that day, that minute, it doesn't work like that because the brain doesn't work like that. Within about a few days, I was getting headaches, and I began to get these rather incredible memories flooding back into my mind. So I went deeper, and I have this insatiable curiosity. I went diving into the unknown. I went going into the deeper end of the water, the dark black part of the water where it's cold and there's currents down there. And I ran further experiments on myself. And the technology was basic at best. What it involved was a magnet, an ordinary magnet, not an electromagnet, not a refrigerator magnet, but some of those larger magnets you can buy. And you're going to smirk at this, but it was a ceiling fan. That's all it was. Initially, it was a ceiling fan. And I taped a magnet, probably no bigger than that, not too big, as a blade would be wobbly. And I duct taped a magnet at the end of one of the blades of this ceiling fan. It doesn't have to be 4 blades. It can be 2, it can be 3, but just as long as it's at one end. And I turned the ceiling fan on low, and so this thing was rotating. And obviously it wobbled a bit because you got this little bit of weight on there. But don't be a big magnet. You can have something like a donut ring magnet, one of those little magnets you buy like in hardware stores. And what ended up happening was, again, my headaches come back. And I noted it down. I began researching this. I couldn't believe this. Then more stuff was coming back to me. And it was always around the side of my head, around the right side. And the memories began to resurface back in Texas in the 1990s. Now, I'm only repeating myself. There's nearly 400 videos on here. And you don't have the time to scan through my videos. And sometimes people appreciate you in the moment, not, here I said this 10 years ago. And I don't look like the same as I did 10 years ago. So let's be personal. So I went deep into it. And years on, I sat down and wrote this book. And I chose that cover. Project M4, The Memory Recall Revolution. This is my book. And M4 stands for Magnetic Field Oscillation Rotational Resonance. Basically means that an ordinary magnet rotating through space at the end of a rod or something over a person's head, you have to sit under this, creates in the environment a rotational oscillation. You don't see it, you don't smell it, you don't feel it with your skin or anything. You might get headaches. The more it rotates, the longer it does, you get this oscillating rotational resonance in the environment, in the room around you. If you've had amnesia, if you've had a concussion, whether accidental or man-made, someone hit you in the head, someone gave you a drug to make you forget things. So I began researching what can do that, because the memories that came back were of people claiming to be, and this video I'm going to leave it out, in the American intelligence community. Well, there I just said American, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. And the memories that came back was I was having experiences with people that had no idea this was going to happen to me. They would have experiences or tell me things or interact with me. They were coming out of the intelligence community, or they were victims of it or witnesses. And so they were coming forward to me in the 1990s. And then it's like this agency knew what was happening, showed up with a device. It was portable. It was something like a remote control, battery operated. They stuck it to the side of my head, and they called it a brain taser, a nickname. And what it gave you was a small electric shock to the side of the skull where the memory centers on the brain are. And the way they understood it, though very crudely, and their scientists have got a lot wrong, believe me, they believe that if you don't have, the brain doesn't have time enough to process the experience. Like you have to have it in your head for a while, like days, weeks, months before, so it becomes a permanent memory, and then it becomes long-term. If they catch you within days or even weeks of an experience, tase you, you get this, what's called retrograde amnesia of the last weeks, the last month. Then they warned me, if we have to come back here again, we can hit you with this thing again, and you won't remember who you are. We can hit you 3 or 4 times at the same time with this thing. And like some of us who used to work in the agency, this one woman told me, she warned me. I didn't work for the intelligence community, I never have. Though memories resurfaced, and you see in one of my videos that they did in the 1990s come back and use me as an asset or something. And that's in one of my other videos. It had 10,000 views on it, but they used me as an unwitting participant. They said, "You're going to work with us now." Okay, how's that place? So they said that they've had people that work in the intelligence agency that they use this thing on, and they can hit them 5 or 6 times in the skull, like within a few minutes. And these people will have no idea who they are entirely. Not just lose days and weeks, but their whole life. And they'll walk down the street and find these people in suit and ties. They end up on Unsolved Mysteries of Robert Stack. If you've seen that show in the 1990s of these strangers that, oh, who am I? Cat scans the skull, shows some unusual something on the side of the brain they can't explain, but no physical damage to the skull. You bastards. So this technology, I'm sure, is not approved by the Food and Drug Administration, you son of a bitches. Go to hell. Anyhow, let's be friendly. So anyhow, what I did, like all mad scientists, is I decided I'm going to give you a punch. So the book is telling people how to build something like this. Yes. There it is. Okay, no more diabolical laugh. Wait a minute, Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. Okay, never mind. We're done with that. Okay, so I have the plans in here and it's here. It's on my channel, and it goes into. I share a lot of research. Even right here, amnesia created through electric shock, drugs, hypnosis, mind control, image of original declassified. There's that agency document. It's an original document I got in the book. I put in there declassified documents. Declassified documents reveal it. So it's not, this book isn't all my writing. This is aggregate material that is free use. You're allowed to put that in a published book. And I put some of the declassified documents in there, along with plans on how to build it. No, I don't hate anybody. I don't. I don't have any. I don't. I don't hate you. I apologize for being a bit rude there. No, I that wasn't funny, Jace. No, I don't hate anybody. I think that. You know, it's like with anything. I don't know their reason. Let's not go there. Let's speculate all that nonsense. I have respect for people that serve my government. I am a patriot of the United States. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Now, what I found was when I began to build improved prototypes, one of the prototypes uses a former e-bike. You sit in a chair, and you've got a motor, a 250 watt motor, and you've got a rotating magnet, and you can sit there and actually control it in a chair. It's like something out of science fiction. If long exposure to this is believed to enhance the brain, so if you've done a lot of drugs or drink a lot of alcohol, you're going to, get back a clearer brain. It seems to create senses of euphoria. It might help depression, bipolarism, schizophrenia, loads of stuff. If you have Parkinson's, if you have Alzheimer's. I don't have a patent for this, and I can't guarantee results. All right, the book makes that disclaimer. You don't, I say don't try it at home, but yet here are the plans. And there's even articles I put in here that are free use, royalty free. You can put it out there. Zapping our brains with magnets could help reverse memory loss. It was the Holy Grail. Okay? Problem. I stopped use of it in 2017 when I fell into some issues. Housing issues, had to move around, lots of dramatic, unrelated, or it could be intelligence agencies chasing me, trying to destroy me here in England. Anyhow, I stopped. I was writing notes. I wrote a book based on resurfaced memory, but it was incomplete. There were some elements in the book that I left out, yes. But they spoke of someone else. But I couldn't remember who that was. Only recently I have now remembered. I've now remembered. Yes. And now I know. So what I've done is I have now remembered. And what that means is that I now know that doesn't mean anything. I'm not going to say anything else. What that means about the book, what it means, I can't, I really, I have to stop there. I'm not saying anything. There's still there's someone I'm protecting. And I actually care a great deal about this person. You know, when you find someone, you rediscover someone, you realize you love this person, and you'd give your life for them. And you think, well, shit, I'd give my life for you. Oh God, this has been so long. This is overdue. So we go through 17, 18, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, the pandemic, the shutdown. I was in that mobile home over here. 2022, I go through another upheaval. I had to move. I lost the mobile home. I'm in this house. 2023, some more issues. 2024. Only now in 2025, well, 2024, I finally got my notes together and put the book together. Okay, because I went through about 8 or 9 years of setbacks. And then I began going back like all mad scientists. I returned to the laboratory, and lightning flashing outside and high winds, and I'm crazy. It's like, this is it. Now what else can I pull out of my head? And so I did. And I then, it was early in the year, and I went, oh my God. And then you think, am I too late? What's going on? It's like you do this and you go, oh no. The moment you remember who you are, really who you are, and then you start to go, oh God. So in the other book, I never said conclusively I was related to anybody. And I'm glad I kept it that way, because there were some things already I knew about at the time. A story of someone very young, and I can't say any more than that. And this person in the book was, in fact, telling me this, but I left it out of the book for a good reason, because I didn't know who this was. At the time, remembering 10 years back, you've used the technology and you're like, but put this out there. Go ahead and get this out there. Sometimes that's good cover. If you don't end up getting arrested and locked up for, pointing fingers at the government anymore, it's also good cover if people try to kidnap you. Well, look, if he ends up dead or kidnapped, and well, he did write that book and said that woman told him this stuff. Well, maybe there's some connection to this. So I think that the book was a good whistleblowing, and here I am, whoever reads it, this is me, I'm the one. But deliberately left some other bits out because I wasn't sure who she was talking about, and now I do. In all seriousness, it's not a game. People's feelings and lives are at stake, and mental health. And you walk on thin ice, and I don't know, you think I'm not look, I didn't build a machine to enhance my knowledge and make me smarter. I built a machine to bring back memories if they're buried. I built a machine that can bring back memories. I didn't build a machine that can make me smarter. When I build that machine, then I'll walk out of the booth with a PhD, and then I'll not make mistakes. I'll know what to do, okay? But I didn't go off and invent a smart machine, a smart inducing machine, a brain inducing. No, I have all the knowledge. No, I invented something called M4. M4 is my baby, okay? This is my baby. And if you're out there and you want to buy a copy, go ahead. Or if we meet up in life, you want to step into my chair? Throw the switch, Igor. Yes, master. What you will then do is, say you've worked for this agency or these people, and you feel like you've had memories taken from you. What I can guarantee is you'll get them back. I can't guarantee how you're going to react to them. Have a notepad and paper ready. Whatever you get back is yours. You don't got to tell me about it. And you don't pay me anything. I won't take any money. I'll accept, obviously, the book has to be sold. I have a lot of dignity. about this. I make books for you to have, so you keep it. I mean, stuff on this can disappear. You know, you got a copy, it's yours, keep it. Hug it, hold it. I love you. I got this book. It'll keep you safe and cozy. Maybe I'm using that thing too much. You think? No. So anyhow, what happens is you keep it, you have it, you know, and you can come away with that with you know, if you I don't ever. I don't put people down who do it, and I don't want to talk about it. If you go on public and say, give me money or whatever, then you got people that need money, go ahead. I guess help them. I sell books, and that's what I do. I didn't, you know, I didn't end up in life the musician or the actor. I ended up being the crazy writer. It also brought back a lot of other memories, alien contact memories, that I think they wanted me to forget about, you know, abduction experiences, contact experiences, you name it. It was it's all there. Oh, you know, is it better than hypnosis? You decide. Hypnosis is good. I don't know. I've never had hypnosis, but what you will get back is a lot of memories. I mean, I got to say this, and it's like I'm infringing on that song "Weird Science" from the movie Weird Science from a Wingo Bango. Yes, I've played that a few times, and I'm building stuff. Weird Science. The way it works is the brain is like a hard drive. It's always rotating. Okay, try to imagine the brain is always in an algorithm. It's always rotating. Ingrams, or there's a name for this. So it's like a rotation. The hundreds of billions of neurons, it's doing this. Your thought patterns. Okay. Now, what happens when you have an experience? Okay, experience. That's going to affect initially a few tens of thousands of neurons in your memory, your recent memory centers of your brain. There are these little synapses, these little like threads that connect neurons together. They're like chemical wires. All right. Neurons are a lot of places. This is where the memories are believed to be stored, and they think synapses. If you electrically shock a skull, what it's actually doing is it's dampening those synapses. It's not severing them. Nope. Sorry to burst your bubble. The memories are still there. They probably know that. So the passive magnetic field rotating over a skull actually reawakens those synaptic pathways to the neurons. So what happens is tens of thousands of neurons, there it is, and before it can go into the cycle of the brain, this rotating hard disk I told you about, someone comes along, or an accident to the head, we'll say at this point, they hit you with something. So what that does, it dampens this. It goes dormant. But this continues to cycle. So your everyday life, what you know, last months and weeks, including present time, and you know, then they hit, continues to rotate through until it seems to just like a dryer keeps spinning. Your brain is always, it's always like it's rotating. Thought patterns, the wave function of the brain is always rotating. Until eventually more experiences and memories of everyday life overlay the dormant memory that they've knocked down. M4 comes along and it stimulates the brain through magnetic field oscillation. Magnetic fields will flow into your body through this device, and it goes into your brain. Because the brain is already an oscillating electrical device. The magnetic field comes in and begins to rotate with the brain. That's flushing through and reawakening, electrically stimulating, because the brain has its own magnetic field, if you didn't know. So it begins to stimulate all of those synaptic pathways until they then connect to the neurons, and then what happens is it begins to awaken. It awakens. Now, these awakened neurons and memory centers then connect up to the rotating part of the consciousness. And now the brain begins to process and put it into and make sense of consciousness and memories. The brain will know exactly where to put this because it happened where it happened. The brain is like a software that then says, okay, it does its own little bit of confabulation. It's not false memory, it's confabulate. It will say, I'm beginning to remember, and the brain says, that's right, what color's grass? Green. What color's pavement? Gray. There's a tree there, gray. There's a sky, there's a face forming in front of me. The memory is beginning to reflush in with more neurons and connect to more synaptic pathways until eventually it begins to become more clear and more accessible. You don't have doubt of what's coming back to you. And this idea that it comes back as a dream, yes, if you don't use this technology and you got electrically shocked and you don't remember, or the chemicals used on you, you will get, it comes back like a dream. Feels like a dream you had. Oh, it's like a weird dream. You'll always get headaches when you get a recall. And there's a reason for that. You're getting electrical stimulation in parts of the nervous system in the brain, which is then causing it to fluctuate a bit. You're getting a bit of that's what the headache is, the pain. The nervous system in the brain has its own sense of feeling things. Will then sense its own, oh, what's going on here? So when you use my technology, it comes back, and it's without a doubt. And so you have to be ready for that. I would say to anyone using this thing, you would be advised that watch out. If you've had traumas, if you've been tortured or anything's happened to you or something uncomfortable, raped, because I'm sure that technology in the wrong hands is being used to, I'm sure that the powers that be that have a brain taser are out there using it for that purpose, to rape women and then shock their skulls. And guys using it, and then they run off, they don't remember, and they film them, extort them, I don't know, and they don't remember. So I would warn people, don't just hop in my chair. Or if you do, go get a professional therapist afterwards, because you're going to need that. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I don't have any background on that. That's not what I do. I have electrical engineering background, physics. I have a diploma in science. I dropped out of that course dozens of times. Finally finished it. But that's my background. I deliberately don't want to, I don't care if you're a psychologist, good for you. I don't want to get into psychology. I really don't. I love people, and that's it. Not every people. I'm just different about that. So you have to be forewarned that this thing could come with consequence. You could end up remembering some uncomfortable things, If you have worked in intelligence and you got memory lapses, and you come to me and you sit in this thing, or you get involved with it, you build something. It's really a very much. I would say, I'm not going to say don't try it at home. I'm going to say this is a disclaimer. Don't hold me responsible. Like I said in my book, because I don't know what you've been through, and your experiences are your own. And you're going to end up getting things coming back to you that you may not like. Or it could be good stuff. You might have some good thing. You might have a wonderful, let's be positive, we're so dark about it. Dark and brooding. No, it may be something incredible. You may have something wonderful and think, oh, wow, why was that taken from me? Or a whole life. I don't know. My theory is, there's hypothesis and theories. I'm working it up to a theory. You'd probably, if you have a complete amnesia person, a total amnesia, likely, it's possible, I can't guarantee, they'd be getting back quite a bit of themselves. But there's going to, it's almost like a Pandora's box, because we don't know. This crosses some pretty serious areas here. And I am not going to comment on or theorize or speculate on the reasons why the powers that be do what they do. I get that there's this need to do that to me back then, because I was being exposed to what they deemed as national security secrets or intelligence or something. I'm only revealing anything out of love and reunification to try to find people I love, lost people, get to the bottom of things, my own life, who I am, things like that. There's no espionage. There's no embarrassment to a government. Look, if there was something, I will say this: if there was something that came back to me that I did witness and see that would be serious, and I mean like I saw something on a base, like a secret weapons program, or trade American secrets, something very serious. I mean, I don't mean like people lost family. I'm talking something like, nuclear secrets or something. I'm not putting it in the book. I'm not putting it on YouTube. I'm sure I won't talk about it. Alien contact. Government has aliens. Okay, yes. I've signed no non-disclosures. Oh, yeah, why not? Let's talk about aliens. Okay. Ethically, morally, I think that needs to be in the public. Anything else, that would compromise my nation's security, that on a continental national scale, I will remain silent until the day I die. And I'm not suggesting I have seen or know of anything. I can tell you about a program I think they had me in. I was tased later, but it was something to do with dealing with aliens or whatnot. But that's it. If there's any names, specific names, I'm not. I won't be saying anything. Again, if I say specific names, otherwise, it's for the purpose of family, love, reuniting, or finding who I am, or who you are, or who I am, and things like that. It's got nothing to do with if there's any national security issue. How do I know that? Well, I think anyone with common sense would know. Like if you like a memory recall of you're in a nuclear installation with United States Air Force intelligence, and they're investigating UFO or alien connections to an area, and they're investigating personnel that might have been contacted by aliens or had alien abductions in that particular installation. Well, gee, I don't know anything about that. I mean, then you can imagine that I would have been exposed to the interior of such things and what these facilities look like and what they sound like, and I'm sorry, I'm only speculating what if that had come up, then it's not going to be anywhere. And I'm not dropping hints. I'm just being serious with you. It's not something that you go public with. Have some common sense. I care about my nation and the people in it, and but then how do you decide that, JP? How do you decide what isn't? How do you know that saying just this lost mom or lost somebody isn't exposing something else? It's common sense. When you get it back, you just sit there and you think, wait a minute. That ain't going to destroy, you're not going to cause World War III if I say this. No. And I'm related to you, you're related to me, isn't going to cause the end of the world. I realize they may still say, well, technically it's under national security of the... take it up with my lawyer. Just whatever. Ever you get me into custody and walk off with me and I'm being carted off out the door in a black car or something, then okay, I'll sit with my lawyer. We'll argue those details, the finer details. You can talk to my lawyer about it. And then I'll tell the judge, Your Honor, I didn't think it was espionage because these are people I love, I care about. This is someone who cared about me, someone trying to help fix things. And that lady is my mother, and I love her and she loves me. And I think that, what? Your Honor, what? I mean, I think any sitting judge, federal judge would agree with that, or senator would agree with that. Well, I don't think this is national. This is going to blow up. This is going to blow up our country, But in a private skiff with senators, if they said to me, what has else come back to you? Then if there was anything of that scale, it's one thing to say you think you were an asset to some agency and you ran around with them investigating aliens in a video. I said something very vague about it. But if you're stupid and you ended up seeing sensitive things, then you really need to be quiet. Okay, you keep your mouth shut. You don't put that in a book. You don't go public with that, especially if it's technology, facility, aircraft, weapons, or coatings or something. You don't, or even the location of specific installations, which otherwise look like empty fields and forests in the middle of nowhere in America. You keep that mouth shut, and you don't say you better keep that mouth shut. JP, you better fucking shut up. Don't you say a word. But the rest of it, you may think, boy, he's really exposed just too much. No, I've said morally and ethically, I believe you have to ask this question: what would a sitting judge say to you if you got in front of them and they were trying to knock you down for trade secrets going public? Everything laid out, everything, videos, text, whatever, YouTube, books written, and the judge is and I'm sure they're gonna agree with that. And yeah, I agree. This is not a real threat. This is not national security death here. He's gonna kill it. No, I think I've always been an endeavor to find and deal with the big answer about who am I, the family, lost family. I will say in 2025, that is, dare I say, been answered. I will say that I've crossed the big bridge, and it's good. It's all good. But I will not say any more about that. And that is not to do with national security secrets of defense issues or anything like that. That's not the case. That's to do with emotional mental health of individuals that I do love, or person that I love, and that this person or persons have to be protected and cannot be. I can say this, and it's not encoded. If it is, forgive me, guys. I know that you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you. Yeah, you watching this. That's right. No. So there it is. That's my video. You wasted enough of your time listening to this freaky weirdo. Go find yourself something better to do. I bet you're sitting there thinking to yourself, boy, that's 37 minutes I wish I could get back, but I can't get back. Boy, what a waste of time that was. I'll never get that 37. Everyone watches my videos probably says, oh, now there's an hour I wish I could get back, but I can't. What a waffling nonsense, that idiot. I know. No, that's it. Like I said, Project M4, it's called the Memory Recall Revolution. It's in my Lulu bookstore. It's good read, or toilet tissue paper, or you want to throw darts at it, or maybe use it as kindling when you get that big log fire and you want to start a fire and you go, what do? We use one of JP's books, especially this one. So that Nutter thinks he can remember everything he does. What's the matter with him? Or if you just have a serious issue with forgetting things, if you're one of those kind of people that needs to, I'm waiting for this thing to go public on a TV commercial. Hi there, I'm JP. Do you suffer from memory loss issues? Do you just keep forgetting where you put those car keys? Buy my device today. I've got a compact version, M4. Stick it to your head. And you'll get your memories back. Order today. No. Call now, 1-800-225-24446-781. Now, now. Order now, and you'll get a free version of the electric shocker. Do you just want to tase those people out of... Do you ever do something stupid? You ever wish you could just take back what you said to your boss? You ever walk in and have one of those days where you could just say to you wish you hadn't said that to your other half? You said something stupid to your wife. You slipped up. Whoops. Order the brain taser. Just like the one they use in the intelligence community. You get it here today. Yes, the brain taser. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. The brain taser. What was I doing? What am I talking about? Who are you? What? What am I doing here? What did I just say? Why is this video running? What? Order now and you get a free brain taser. So you can take M4, get your memories back, and then forget about it. What am I doing? And then get it back, and then do it for fun. Stereoptic memory. Wait a minute, I'm getting these weird blips of experiences from a minute ago. Oh. Sorry, I've just dropped a battery. Oh. Sorry about that. I build e-bikes. Y'all want an e-bike built? Okay, thank you for watching this nonsense. I appreciate it. I love you guys. And thank you for hanging around. I say subscribing. I say hanging around. And you've wasted enough time with me, so I'm out of here. And by the way, peace, love, unity, and oneness to you all equally. And I mean that to everybody. I love you all. And you're all good. Love you. And big hug. Okay? Okay. From Benico and myself, we love you.